Hello, friends. How's it going tonight? Hope you all are doing awesome. I have been delivering like crazy. Not sure how many of you have been out recently delivering, but I'm doing a $200 every day in September challenge right now. And going to be, well, I started documenting it on the channel. Day one is already up. After this show, I'm going to be working on days 2 and maybe 3. I might combo them. It's really hard to do the $200 day plus other life stuff and then get the video edited. I was like, I'm going to do a video a day, and that might be a separate challenge. So, want to welcome everybody. So glad you're here. Glad to be back. Thank you for being flexible. I'll have so the preview is this is day 4. So if you want to know kind of the behind the scenes when you get to day 4, that's why we got pushed back. But always interesting things going on when you're documenting deliveries and things like that. So far we are doing well. I'm just going to say that. I don't want to spoil things, but we hit it day 1. I can say that because that video is live. I don't want to spoil it. I want to give you guys reason to watch the videos. But day 1 has been out now for a couple days, so we're good. So we've hit it. We hit day 1, and we're going to keep going from there. Keep pushing and see how we do. There's going to be tough days for sure. This Sunday is going to be a tough day because I have church commitments in the morning during like breakfast, brunch time, and all supper time. So I'm going to have to do it like lunch, afternoon, and late night for this Sunday. So I know there's going to be like that might be the hardest day this whole month. So anyway, hello specifically to everybody who's chimed in so far. So hello to Caleb and Lisa and Lucian. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. And I'm just glad to be back with you guys. And anyway, really excited. So tonight we are going to do kind of a different version of something that I kind of want to explore a little bit. I've got some big channel updates. So stay tuned to the end if you want to hear those. And we've got all sorts of different things going on. And I really need your feedback on a couple of channel things too. near the end, and so definitely want to hear from you. So if you can hang out, or if you're watching this on replay, um, make sure you stay to the end because I really want to get your feedback on a couple of different things. So some of you are familiar with a person, a psychologist named Jordan Peterson. He's out of Canada, and he was a professor up in Canada for many years. He's also involved with a lot of different things, but I've been listening a lot to his stuff recently on psychology and life improvement because it has a lot of things to uh, to do with that. And so he has one of his books he wrote is called 12 Rules for Life. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go through the 12 rules, but it's going to be 12 rules for life for gig workers. And I wanted to take the principles of what he teaches in there. And for those of you who haven't had time to read the whole book, kind of boil them down to something a whole lot easier to manage and do that. So I will take, I can stay a little bit later tonight too if we go over the hour because I know this is going to take. So post all your questions, and if I don't get to them right away, I will get to them after I go through this. But I want to present this straight through the 12 rules and give a brief little explanation. And you guys chime in with whatever you see. And this is not saying that these are the only things you need to do as a gig worker. It's just kind of taking the principle of that and then ask questions. And if they kind of apply to the topic that we're on, I'll try to intermingle it. And if not, I will get to anything and everything else at the end. I appreciate all you guys hanging out here and want to cover everything you have to say. Okay, so these are the rules. I don't know if I have these 100%, but they're roughly paraphrased. So rule one from Jordan Peterson is stand up straight with your shoulders back. Okay, stand up straight with your shoulders back. And I've mentioned that this is something that I've been working on. For those of you who've been following my personal progress journal, I actually did notice that kind of some differences. And so I've kind of modified this to say stand up straight with your shoulders back and a smile on your face as you walk in the room. Okay, or as you as you meet the customer, as you interact with people. But I'm just going to call it as you walk in the room. Okay, and I'm going to throw these up on the screen for you guys here for you visual learners. Okay, so I'll number them here too. I have them typed up, but I got to do a little copy paste stuff. We'll see how this looks. I think that all fits on there. Yeah, stand up straight with your shoulders back and a smile on your face as you walk in the room. In other words, we want to be focusing on kind of two different parts here. Confidence, self-confidence. You want to have, not in a cocky, arrogant way, but you do want to own the room as you walk in. And so when you walk in, and I've been testing this because I'm an introvert by nature, and I'm kind of a look down at my phone by nature. I'm kind of like, I just want to get in, get the food, get out by nature. And I've been working on this in a very broad sense over the last year and a half, but specifically over the last 2 to 3 weeks, I would say, been working on, like I literally have to tell myself sometimes, take a deep breath, put my shoulders back, put my head up, brighten up my eyes, put a smile on my face as I walk in the room. Now, it's becoming more natural now that I'm practicing it, but I can tell you just in my early results of doing this, I'm getting so much better customer service from uh, whatever restaurant or store employee. I'm getting more smiles. It changes my whole outlook of things as I go in the room. It sounds weird, but it's actually a little bit humbling to do this because I'm humbling myself to say, you know what? Why isn't this my natural posture when I walk in the room? How come I don't naturally smile and keep my head up and my shoulders back? Like there's a lot of things that have contributed in my life to not having those mannerisms be second nature to me. But you're never too old to fix something that's broken inside of you. And so it's this whole idea of you want to just create positive interactions. You want to be blessing other people, right? We have our serve, learn, grow, adapt, as you see behind me here. Really, this is all about serving. You want to serve people because when you walk in that room, that restaurant worker might be having a really rough day. They may have just dealt with a bad customer. That gate guard may have dealt with someone who was trying to get in when they weren't supposed to. Those valet drivers may have dealt with someone who was really snooty and didn't tip well before you. You know, that customer might be having one of the worst days of their life because of whatever circumstance or situation that's gone on. By doing that, you're projecting like, hey, I am in charge of this situation. I'm here with confidence. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to present myself in that proper way. And when you just start off that way with a big smile and all those other things, some people just can't help but to reciprocate it. And I think just your overall interactions are going to go well. Okay. So stand up straight with your shoulders back and a smile on your face as you walk in the room. Okay. Rule number 2, Jordan Peterson's rule number 2 is treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. All right. And so this is more application than specifically gig worker. So I just added a little bit for it from the gig worker thing because this is something we talk about on this channel. Just treat yourself like someone you're responsible for helping, and specifically, here's how: by planning for tomorrow. Okay, by planning for tomorrow. Now, I'm going to be in full confession mode. I did not do this tonight because I was racing to get home. I got home about 10 minutes before the stream started and ate a half-cooked, half-frozen slice of pizza before I went on the air because I haven't really had food much at all today, and just kind of grabbed some things to go. But what you want to be doing, ideally, not like me, not like I just did, is gas up your car. Okay. If you gas up your car when you're done with your shift, then when you're ready to go tomorrow, you don't have to sit back and wait and be like, okay, I'm ready to go get some orders. Oh, wait, I have to go gas up my car midway through. Now, I do have half a tank of gas, but I would recommend, just in terms of uh, if you're trying to just build a habit, just gas up at the end of every shift. Build the habit of it. And that way, if something comes up, then you always know you got the full tank for the next day. But there's other things you can do. It might involve things like, hey, if you spilled something in the car, cleaning up your bags, cleaning up the car. Don't let it sit overnight, so that way you wake into a stinky mess the next morning. Maybe it's just things like you need to unwind. Maybe you need to go to bed earlier, or maybe you need to take the shower. Maybe you need to get the exercise in. But basically, the principle is this: you want to do something today that your tomorrow self will thank you for. Okay. And if you think about it, and Jordan Peterson points this out, if you were, I'm going to take this out and hopefully you guys can still hear me. Let me know if you have any audio issues, but hopefully that's still good. If you were taking care of someone else, how would you advise them, right? The thing is, we find it really easy to manage other people's lives, and yet we don't often do the same things ourselves, right? I will tell my kids, eat your vegetables, but how many times do I find reasons why I don't eat my own vegetables? This is the whole principle here: is you want to find ways, like if you were helping someone else, what would you tell them to do? So you almost need to just step out of yourself for a moment and give yourself counsel. So I would counsel you at the end of your shift, gas up the car. That's what I would counsel you. So you know what I should do at the end of my shift? I should gas up my car. It's a simple principle. And so this is the simplest thing to do, is try to step out of yourself and say, if I were talking to someone else, what advice would I give them? And then take that, and then you want to apply that to you. You want to apply that to your life in whatever decision you need to make. Okay. Number 3, Jordan Peterson's rule number 3 is make friends with people who want the best for you. Okay. Make friends with people who want the best for you. In other words, don't make friends with people who want to hurt you or whatever. We're going to assume that in most cases, the people we interact with do want the best for us, in the sense of they want a good delivery, right? Most everyone you come in contact with on your thing wants a good delivery. The customer wants a good delivery. The restaurant worker wants a good delivery. The store worker wants a good delivery. The gate guard wants a good delivery. Everybody wants everything to go as seamlessly and easy as possible. So we're going to assume that. And so now we're going to just revise this to say, make friends with store employees, customers, and other drivers. Now, when we're talking friends here, we're obviously not talking deep relationships, though you certainly will have opportunities with certain restaurant workers and store employees to at least get to know them on somewhat of a surface level. But this kind of goes back to step number 1, where you're putting that smile on your face and you're trying to make that a positive interaction. And so as you do that, and let me know in the chat if this is true for you. I know there have been times that the friendships that I've built, and I'm not using this in a deep sense of friendship, but just in the casual business friendship, I know there are times that they have gotten me extra benefits, like getting jumped to the head of the line of who gets their food first or who gets attention first. Because when I walk in the room, in certain situations, I've proven myself that I care for them, And I'm not just about getting in and getting out. Okay. So many people, we're going to talk about this at the end here, one of the other rules. So many people are, the only metric they're concerned about is speed, total number of deliveries. And I think if you are only concerned about that and you miss the opportunity to make friends with people that you're interacting with, that in the end, you're winning the short term game, but you're losing the long term battle. And so I'm constantly working to make friends. Does it mean it's going to be successful every time? No. There's going to be some people that you just don't jive with. And if I had one wish that could kind of fix all these gig delivery apps, it would just be not so much about having a feedback system, but when people give 5 stars, when people increase tips to drivers, those people should be paired together because obviously it's a great situation that would improve those things. And you know what? I feel like probably 60 to 70% of the people I interact with, doesn't matter. They're just going to be fine with it. There's going to be the 10% that don't like me no matter what I do. But I think there's that other 20% that you can battle for and really make just good impressions with in different things. And so I'm going to give you one little tip here. And I'm not sure how it works on all the apps, but I'm going to say I know for sure with DoorDash, if they have the DoorDash portal in the restaurant, those restaurant workers can rate you. And if you've built a good enough relationship, and I've done this with certain ones of my restaurants, I have asked them to give me a 5-star rating as a restaurant. Because you know how many do it naturally? None. I mean, there may be the one or random mom and pop restaurant that does that. I was looking at my Uber Eats today. I've delivered probably over 1,000 Uber Eats. I don't know. It's a lot. And I looked, I have not one restaurant rating. Not one. I've never been rated by a restaurant by Uber Eats. Um, but I do know with DoorDash, I have been rated there. And so if you're making friendships with these employees, you can probably say, if you've built enough trust, and say, hey, I would really, really appreciate it. Now, I would only do this for the restaurants you really love. I probably wouldn't do this for a McDonald's that you hate going to, but I think it helps because I think if all things are equal, you're going to get assign the order. Like, let's say you're the same distance, same rating, all those things. If all things are equal, if the one thing you have on another driver is a 5-star review from a restaurant, I think you're going to get the nod in some of those cases. And when you're competing for these orders, I think it's a good thing. Good evening, Kevin. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. All right. Rule number 4 is this: compare yourself. This is Jordan Peterson's rule. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Okay. And again, we're just going to contextualize this. Oh, hold on. Let me redo that really quick here. Forgot to number it. Hey, Joshua, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We're going through Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, but modified for gig workers here tonight. So if you guys have any questions or if you think I'm off on something, let me know. I definitely want to hear. Oh, Presley, I was trying to put mine up, but yours is up. Awesome. Well, good evening to you. Rule number 4. Here's our version of rule number 4, which is compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to another driver. Now, I know this sounds weird, especially as a content creator who's telling you, hey, these are some suggestions or different things. But I'm also trying to always be clear with you guys that the things I do them because they work in my market. And I would always encourage you to try something that you've never tried to see if it works in your market. And I try to bring you guys different perspectives from other people. Like 6 months ago, I was telling you guys about how earn by time could be beneficial in market. And just now, over the last 2 or 3 months, since tiers have rolled out everywhere, then more and more drivers are talking about how earn by time is good. Well, I was on that trend long before other people were talking about it because I realized that everyone was bad-mouthing something that they had never tried. And for me, I had only tried it once and I had a poor first experience. And so I wrote it off until I did a little more research and I did some more things. And you're going to see in this ride along, I also did in my DoorDash ratings climb that I did, the vast majority of the way I got from 16% to 98% acceptance rate in DoorDash was on earn by time. And my hourly rate did not go down. It didn't go down while I was doing it. I was still making about the same amount of money per hour. And the only difference was that I drove more miles. But the trade-off was I was getting consistent orders and I never had to take really, really bad orders, $2 for 10-mile orders. I never got those because all the long ones do that. You only take it for peak pay. Yeah, I love when we had the hurricane coming near us, like a couple, I don't know, a month ago or whatever. They peak paid us up so much. It was like, I think we were like 22 an hour or something like that. It was beautiful, plus tips. So my acceptance rate went up to like 85% for like the weekend. It was great. But the whole point is here. I'm not telling you that this is the way to do it and everybody else is wrong. That's what I see with a lot of gig tubers and stuff like that. It's like, this is the way to do it. No, you just got to figure it out. So Lisa knows that Earn by Time works with peak pay in her market. And she's got other income streams and she's got other apps that are going to supplement what she needs to do. But for you, you've got to figure out what works for you. You've got to try different things. And I remember when I first started doing Costco for Instacart, I would walk in and I would see all these drivers with all these huge orders. Well, I've done enough research now where I can see an order and then I'll find the person while I'm in the Costco shopping it and I'll realize, like, that's a horrible order that they took. Sure, it looks really impressive on the cart, but I know that was a $20 for 28-mile order. And yeah, maybe they're outsourcing it. Maybe they're doing things they shouldn't be doing. But the point is, just because that looks like a good order to you doesn't mean it is. It might not be a good order at all. And so much of everything is like, there's jealousy, there's all different things. Like, you just can't do that. And when I do challenges, part of it is I want to teach and I want to have a fun way teaching. Part of it is, look, it's sometimes boring out there, right? Sometimes it's just boring, and making content makes it a little more fun. It's like, okay, at least I know I'm getting to share this with other people. But even when I did a $600 Sunday, for Super Bowl Sunday, like, everything worked great that Sunday. I mean, and I was exhausted and everything, but I would not go and tell you, yes, this is what you should do, and you should do this every single Sunday. No, it was a particular challenge for a particular day, for a particular point in time. Like, without the catering program on DoorDash, I don't think I could do it right now. Now I'm working on getting some catering things figured out on my end. But the whole point is, compare yourself to you yesterday. Did you do a better job today than you did yesterday? Not did you get better results, but were you more you today? Were you more the person that you want to become today than the person that you were yesterday? Because comparing yourself to other people, it's just going to be unhealthy. It's not going to get you to the goals that you want. All right. Rule number 5, Jordan Peterson's rule, is do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Okay, that's Jordan Peterson's rule number 5. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. And this next one, if we understood this, I forgot to put the number again. Hold on. Should have thought this first. This next one, if we could somehow get this figured out, this would be the rule that could completely unite the gig worker community. If we could follow this rule, which is this: do not take orders that make you dislike the customer or the platform. Just don't take those orders. This is the simplest, most basic rule that I think if everybody understood this, it's fine. Because first of all, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to other people, right? So I might take an order, I might go on Earn by Time, and Lisa might say, you know what, I wouldn't go on Earn by Time right now because there's not peak pay. That doesn't make sense for my market. In my market, when I get $4, $5, $6 tips, a lot of times, I mean, I did Earn by Time a fair amount today, and I think I got at least, I think there was one tip that was like only $1, or there's a $1 tip, but most of the rest of the tips were like $3, $4, $5. And I've had tips of $15 on Earn by Time because that works in my market. And I know if I do enough of it, it's going to average out, that it's going to work. And it works with my strategy of acceptance rate and all those different things. So here's what never makes sense to me, though, is people take orders. They accepted the order. They got paid what they accepted. And then at the end, they're upset because it was like maybe it was a triple order on Instacart and one of the 3 didn't tip. Like, who cares? Does it really make a difference to you if all 3 customers, let's say it was a $12 tip. Well, go 15. Let's say it's a $15 tip. Does it make a difference to you if those tips were 0, 2, and 13, or 5, 5, and 5? You get paid exactly the same amount. If you want a life hack for this, It's one of the simplest things that you can do. If you struggle with this, stop looking at who tipped you. Do you realize you don't have to look at who tipped you? And you can just move on with your life and just take orders that are good orders because they're good orders. Now, on certain platforms like Shipt, I know you can kind of mark, you know, take notes on drivers. If it's really, really what you want to do, that's fine. But who cares? If you got paid what you wanted to get paid for the work that you did, I don't care. I always like to take things to the extreme. Let's say I accept an offer. It's $1 million for 2 miles for 2 customers. If I drop that off and one customer tips me $1 million and the other tips me $0, am I going to be upset? There are some people in this gig economy who would still be upset. They'd be like, man, that's a good order, but they couldn't even tip anything for that. Like, you don't care. You shouldn't care. So, and if you're worried about that, then don't take double orders. You can avoid, if you're on Instacart, you never have to take a 0 tip order. Do you realize that? You just only take single orders where you can see the tip ahead of time, and you'll never have to do it. So don't take orders that make you dislike the customer or the platform. And if every order you take, if you have one, like I had one earlier today, and I when I recorded it was a crumble cookies, and I was like, I know that dessert orders just tend to be poor tippers, at least in my area. I don't know. Let me know down below. If I get like Cold Stone Creamery, crumble cookies, any of those things, even when it's just cheesecake, like just cheesecake desserts from Cheesecake Factory, my dessert people do not tip. It's like they think the food gets to them free somehow just because it's only dessert. And for sure enough, it was like $1 tip on crumble cookies, and I was on Earned by Time, but I was like, okay, you know what? I knew it, but I was committed to it, so I was like, okay, I'm just going to take a breather. I'm just going to pause the app, and I'm going to move on, and I'm going to take other deliveries, and I'm going to move on from there. You should never take orders that you dislike. You should never take orders that are going to make you dislike the customer or dislike the platform. And for me, I know I will occasionally have bad orders on Earned by Time. So I don't go on Earned by Time unless I know I'm willing to take the things. I would rather just not go on DoorDash at all if I don't feel like I can handle those things, because I know that. Good, Lisa, I'm glad to know. And it's not just like because it's like college kids or something like that. I just anytime This is the reason why it's hard for me to set up at Costco when I'm multi-apping, because our Costco is right by Crumble Cookies. And it's like if I set up at Costco, I'm either going to get Crumble Cookies or Bubba Coo burritos, and neither of those tend to tip well. Occasionally Bubba Coo's does a little bit, but they're both. And then there's another ice cream place there. There's a lot of bad tipping restaurants, especially during the daytime. All right, number 6. And this kind of ties into this disliking thing. Jordan Peterson's rule number 6 is set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. Okay. In other words, he doesn't say you can't criticize the world. He said just fix you first. Okay. So here's the gig workers. Set your delivery process in perfect order before you criticize the platform or non-tippers. Okay. Set your delivery process in perfect order before you criticize the platform or non-tippers. Now, what do I mean by your delivery process? I want you to think about every stage of everything that you do. I want you to think, have you taken time to study maps of your area and maps of how to get in and out of restaurants that have rough parking? Have you taken time to build relationships with the valet drivers so you can start parking in the valet spot for 2 minutes instead of having to park somewhere and walk half a mile because there's no parking spots? Have you made an efficient setup in your car that you know where your bags go, that you know exactly which bag you're going to grab depending on the size of the order? Have you figured out exactly if you're going to do thank you notes and different things? So what parts of your delivery process do you need to perfect? Have you perfected? Do you have a nice list of messages? I'll show you. I just have a huge list of messages saved in my notes, and I use this a bunch of times a day. I'm not going to show you all of them here, but just to give you a picture. And some of them are really similar to each other. I'm backwards here on the camera, and now you're like seeing a reflection. And I've read some of these before, but I'll read them to you again, because every message I'm trying to do, I'm trying to make sure that I am humanizing myself. Okay, as a gig delivery driver, I am convinced the number one reason that we struggle to get tips is because we are seen as robots, not as people. And so the more you can humanize yourself and build an actual human relationship for that short period of time, the more likely you are to get tips or increase tips. And again, this is why we shouldn't just be focused on being efficient. We should focus on serving customers. Okay, but here's some of the messages that I have. And they're all strategically written. They're not just randomly written. Oh, I forgot to put number 6 up here. Hold on. Put number 6 up on the screen. Set your delivery process in order before you criticize the platform. So, for example, strategically, I have in here, this is one I use a lot. Here it is. All right. It says, this is anytime that there's a delay of more than like a minute or two. Like if the restaurant says it's going to be 2 minutes or 5 minutes, they get this message right away. And it's this: hello, I'm waiting at the pickup for you, but your order is not quite ready yet. I will let you know when I am on the way. Now, does someone want to figure out what's the humanizing part of that? It is, I am doing a favor for you. I am saving you time. I am waiting at the pickup for you. I'm reminding them that I'm a real person giving up real time to serve you in a very real and tangible way. And I would say about half the time I get no response. About a quarter of the time, you just get like you know, a thanks or a really simple message or thumbs up. And then about a quarter of the time, you get things like, hey, I appreciate it so much. And then I'll combine it sometimes with things like, and by the way, the weather's really bad, or if I'm following up, it's like, I'm on my way to you, but it's raining and traffic's a little heavy right now. I'll get to you as soon as safely possible. Again, using safely, they're like, they want their food quick, but they don't want you to die bringing it to them, right? Because then they're not going to get their food either. But in their mind, they're just thinking, my food's not here yet. They're not thinking, oh, there's an accident. Oh, it's raining really hard. Oh, there's a backup. Oh, there's some sort of delay. And so when you bring that in, you're humanizing. This is part of putting your delivery process in perfect order. Another one I use quite common and is this. I have this note. Your cold and meltable items are on ice in my cooler. I am on my way to you. Again, I'm humanizing because I want them to see, I am taking care of you. I have gone out of my way to provide something extra. Now, I'm probably not the only person who uses a cooler, but I go out of my way to show them. And then I will often with Instacart, I'm going to take a picture of their food in the cooler. And especially if they're not the first drop off of multiple ones. Because what are they worried about? They're like, oh my, it says that your food is being climate controlled, but we know that's not always the case. So I'm proving to them, like, yes, here's your food. It is being climate controlled. And I'm going to tell you, regularly get increased tips on Instacart. I wish Instacart could be by far the best platform out there if they just got rid of the stupid, you're in the zone and whoever clicks on it, fastest finger, who wants to be a millionaire thing, and bots. If they just got rid of that and just tried to pair the best drivers with the best customers, and then I would even be okay with giving up a percentage of tips that would go along that way just to get paired with the customers who like me the most. That's how good I think this platform could be, because you have the way to earn those things, but it applies all across the board. And one last one, I'll give you one last thing because this is my thank you note, and I've started sending this even more with this $200 challenge. Because I'm like, when I'm trying to do $200 every day, if I can squeeze out an extra $5 here, that's one less delivery maybe at the end of the night that I have to do. So I have two versions of this message, and I've also modified it at other times too. But here's the base version, and I'll often include this when I drop off. I like to do thank yous. I like to give thank yous because these customers are used to saying thank you. They're not used to being thanked, and it really jars a lot of them. Like, why are you thanking me? So I just say, this is my base message. Thank you for being so awesome. You are such a blessing to us. Have a great day, Craig and family. And by doing that, it's like, whoa, wait a second. You're blessing me, and you do get that response a lot. And by doing that and including that, I put that with Instacart. I do that sometimes, a lot of times with Uber Eats. When I'm leaving at the door, I'll leave that message because you have that little box to fill something in. Just a quick copy paste. Sometimes with DoorDash, I generally, if I meet them face to face, I don't do that, except with Instacart. I will still follow up with it. But for the other ones, but anytime I just leave it at the door, I love to just leave a little thank you note. And actually, if you want to go above and beyond, there have even been times that I'll leave actual thank you notes. My kids have drawn up some thank you cards, and we've left them at the door, and I've seen increased tips from that too, because they people value it. But all of a sudden, it's like if you leave a kid drawn thank you card, for those of you who have kids, that's one perk you've got here. You might have less energy than the single young people who are out doing this, but if you got kids cards are just a way to unlock, because it's like that's so humanizing. Like, wow, your kid made a thank you card for me. Now, we also then sometimes take that money, that extra tip money, and do something special for the kids. So they do that. And but you can do it. You can handwrite your own thank you notes. In fact, I'm going to probably start doing this soon. Get like a nice 500 pack of thank you notes, and you could pre-write a whole bunch of them, and then just fill in the name on the day of the order, and just put it in. If when you do that, you just totally change things around. And you know, I was I won't mention by name, but I was hearing a gig tuber the other day just saying everything here is luck. Cherry picking is over. And I'm going to tell you, if you start hearing all the gig tubers say cherry picking is over, go opposite, right? So the basic thing they always say with stocks is when your friends tell you about a stock that they just heard about, you're already too late. Okay. So I would tend to say whatever you hear is the popular wave of the gig tubers, consider doing the opposite. Okay. Consider doing the opposite, because if it's what everyone's going to start doing, then there is room here. So if everyone's going to start promoting to you that you need to stop cherry picking, I'm going to tell you it might be the best time to start cherry picking. Okay. And I would just highly, highly encourage you to keep testing things out on your own. And I think, yes, customers are weary of giving tips, but you know what they're weary of giving tips for? They're weary of giving tips for subpar service. And if you can provide service that goes above and beyond, I was thinking about this. Tell me if you guys think this is a good idea. Some of you guys know I'm part of the Sip Cup program. All right. And so anytime I go on Panera, I was thinking if there's ever an order that I get and I have enough drink in the car and I don't need it from Panera, I was thinking I should just ask the customer, hey, can I get you is there a soda or is there a lemonade that I can get you, and just bring them a free drink? Like, why not do that? Why not take this sip cup that I'm probably drinking way too much sugar anyway, and why not bless them because I have access to a free drink, right? So it's like, if you think about it, let's just say every time you went to whatever restaurant, they said, well, you can get a free drink. What if you took that free drink that you were given and then you pass that forward, you pay that forward to a customer to say, hey, I talked to, you just figure out a way to phrase it. I'm not saying to use this, okay, but you could say something like, hey, I talked to the restaurant and they're letting me get a drink for you, right? Now, make sure that you're saying this in a way that is morally and ethically accurate, but hopefully you'll get the point here. And they've said I could get a drink from you. They've got Pepsi or Dr. Pepper. Which one would you like? Could you imagine if you started getting free drinks and turn your sip cup instead of just sugar that you did? And I think that I think it's something that's worth trying. It's like the worst case they could say is, oh, I don't want it. And then you just do that. So yeah, I know this is the agave lemonade. I started drinking the coffee this week because it's been so rainy and it's been cold getting into my air conditioned car when I'm soaking wet. So the hot coffee is good. I don't like the iced coffee, but I'm just thinking, why not? Why not find ways to do that? Why not find little things? And maybe you've got something else. Maybe you're a aspiring artist, right? And you just do something. I thought about this. You guys know some of you know I helped create Samurai Brothers card game. I've got like extra cards of just like, I thought, man, maybe every time that I knew I was delivering to a house with kids, right? So anytime there's kids meals or you're shopping and there's just obvious kids food, thought I should throw in a couple of Samurai Brothers cards that are just extra, they're not needed, as just a hey for the kids, enjoy. And I just think that there's lots of little things that we can do. And I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but I think in general, the reason that a lot of people have issues, right? And I've said this before, if you want to consider what you do offering a premium service, then you need to be a premium servant. So, all right, on to number 7, because obviously I'm very passionate about that. All right, number 7. Jordan Peterson's is pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. This one we should be able to go pretty fast. Oh, hold on. That's not. Hold on. That's so copying and pasting. I copied my note, not my rule. Hold on. Sorry, Mr. Jordan Peterson, for botching everything. Hopefully I'm representing your thoughts well, though. Not that you're ever going to see this video. But if you do, Jordan Peterson, if you see this video, please leave a comment. I'd appreciate it so much. All right. Pursue a meaningful delivery experience, not just what is fastest. Okay, so the original pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient, but we're going to revise it to pursue a meaningful delivery experience, not just what is fastest. We've already covered this. It's all about serving the customer, but stop rushing. Can we just stop rushing? Can we stop not holding doors for each other? Can we stop racing through parking lots? I see delivery drivers like just racing all the time. I mean, if you calculate that if you by racing save 2 minutes per delivery and you're doing 20 deliveries per day, at 20 minutes a piece, at most you're going to sneak in 2 more deliveries at most. And if you're Instacart shopping, it's probably more like 1. That's about all you're saving, and you're risking hitting people with a car. You're risking, damaging the items. You're risking all these things. Slow down just a hair. Just a hair, and you still might be able to get that extra delivery in if you're just being efficient at what it is. But let's focus on making it a good delivery experience from start to finish with everyone that we interact with. All right. Jordan Peterson's rule number 8 is tell the truth, or at least don't lie. In other words, if you don't have anything truthful to say, don't say anything at all. Okay, so here's our number 8, and I'm going to tell you, I've been guilty of this sometimes. Sometimes I take on a little too much. Please tell me I'm not the only person out there who is sometimes maybe dirty double or triple stacked an order that they shouldn't have, right? And then you're kind of you put yourself in this situation where you're not, the customer's getting frustrated because their order is delayed or whatever. Maybe I'm the only one who's done that, but I'm really trying to work out, because it's part of giving a good customer service experience. So tell the truth and don't put yourself in a position where you need to lie. Yes, and I get it. Like, we're all trying to push, we're trying to make money. So it's like, I don't want you to feel bad, but I want you to just think about those times, because I've done it. Have you ever sent a message that wasn't 100% true? Like, yeah, your order is delayed, but it's not really your order that's delayed. It's somebody else's order that's delayed, and they ordered on a different app, but their order is way better than yours. So I'm definitely, so I'm not telling you to do it, but don't put yourself in a position to lie. So maybe sometimes if it's a dicey situation and you're not hearing anything from the customer, it may be better if you can't figure out a way to tell it truthfully than to just not say anything in those situations and do that. But honestly, the big thing is be observant. Yeah, blame construction, right? I can always blame traffic. You can blame construction. You can just blame there was a delay at the restaurant. But what if, right? What if you blame the restaurant and then they call the restaurant and say, oh, no, your order was done 15 minutes ago? What if you blame traffic, but it turns out that they're just actually driving behind you and they follow you all the way to their house, right? Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect at this, not by any means. This is definitely an area that I need to work on. And again, I'm not saying these are my rules. These are Jordan Peterson's rules applied. And I would say this is an area I need to work on. And it's like, and I would say in the very least, let's start reverting to, or at least challenge ourselves to revert to the base, which is tell the truth, or at least don't lie. But I want to kind of keep working towards, don't even put yourself in a position where you need to lie. And a lot of times we put ourselves in the position where we need to lie. Okay, for me, I won't speak for everyone else. I put myself in a position where I need to lie because of greed. Okay. By far, being greedy has put me in some of the worst positions. It's hard. The way I like to keep everything on as much as possible when I multi-app, and it's hard for me not to accept something when I see it's a really good order, because sometimes it feels like you go long times without seeing good orders, and it's like, and it, for whatever reason, it just seems like when you get one good order on one app, you'll often get other good orders on other apps at the same time. Like somehow they're spying on each other and like, oh, we're going to try to tempt. I don't know how to explain it, but I would just want to challenge you, and because I'm challenging myself here, tell the truth. Don't put yourself in a position where you need to lie. Okay. This one is interesting. I had a hard time applying this and figuring out. So let me know if you like my take on this. Maybe there's a different way to do this, but um, Jordan Peterson's rule number 9 is assume the person you are talking to might know something you don't, even if you completely disagree with them, even if you philosophically just assume they might know something you don't. That you might have a 20-minute conversation, there might only be one good snippet, but assume that there's something that you can learn from every conversation. So, and this is just kind of this idea of trying to build more camaraderie within our driver community. Assume that the driver that you're talking to, and maybe also assume that the restaurant worker might know something you don't know. Assume maybe the store worker, the valet. There's all different things. I'm constantly trying to get information while building relationships out of like my restaurant workers. So if it's been slow for me and the parking lot looks slow, I'll ask, has it been slow tonight? Or I'll relay my experience. Like, it was really busy this morning, but from lunchtime on, it's been slow. Did you feel the same thing? Why? Because I'm going to assume they know something that I don't. And sometimes you'll hear things like, oh, yeah, this was going on downtown, or this was happening over here, especially on weekends. There's all sorts of events going on. Or yeah, or as soon as the rain came, oh, I didn't realize it rained over here. That makes sense. I get change it. So just assume as you're having interactions, again, this idea that you don't have it all figured out, that maybe there are things that you can do better. All right, number 10. We're almost there. We got 3 more rules. Jordan Peterson's rule number 10 is be precise in your speech. Right now, I've been working on this in a couple of areas, but so first is this for our gig workers. This is our thing. Be precise in your communication, because obviously some of your communication is texting and messaging. You need to understand that not everything transfers through messaging the way it does, because you don't have vocal cues, you don't have voice inflection. So be a little more straightforward, precise, at least until you figure out if you jive and the person has the type of sense of humor you have, that you can connect with them in that way. And if you do, that's fine, do that, but not everyone's going to appreciate that. The 95-year-old woman probably isn't going to care about your meme. She just wants her food. Okay, so you've got to kind of figure out how to do that, but be precise. And again, if you're not lying and not putting yourself in positions to lie, white lie, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, restaurants do get backed up, so I'm not saying don't tell, like, it's fine if that's really what's going on, do that, but try not to just make things up. Anyway, being precise in your communication goes with it, though, because if you're telling the truth, it's the truth, and you don't have to worry about wordsmithing or crafting things in a particular way. So you can be precise. The other area that I've been working on, and this is kind of a side note, is I'm trying to just practice being better with the words that I present on camera. And I am finding that I have a lot of work to do still. I have done lots of presenting in my life, lots of stage presenting, but I've always been particularly poor in one-on-one communication. And Joshua, I see what you're saying there, that stutter and struggle with speech. And I want you to know that's okay. If that's where you're at right now, that's okay. But I would say start practicing. Okay. One of the tips, and I will tell you 100%, I'm not perfect here. I use the word so, okay, like, and those are my 4 my four horsemen of speech apocalypse that I'm trying to work out of my language. But to do that, and I will show you right now what I am doing, is slowing down my pace of speech just a little bit, especially when I'm coming off the top of my head. But some ways that help me overcome, especially someone, if you knew me back in middle school and high school, I barely talked to anyone. I could go an entire day of school without talking to anyone, and I didn't have that confidence. And now I've been building things up. So I've started by repetition. What's great about this situation is you're rarely interacting with the same people more than once in a day, and especially the customers. A lot of these customers are one-time interactions. So I've just done simple things. I know that when I'm delivering, there will often be dogs coming to the door. And I'm not really a dog person. However, I just know that if I can treat their dogs like I'm not afraid. Now, I'll still be honest with you. If it's a pit bull coming to the door, I'm probably not putting my hand out for them to lick. Okay. I don't care what people say. I'm just not going to play the odds on that. But when they're just little yippers or whatever, and then I will put my hand down, let them lick my hand, say, hey, puppies, how's it going? Got some food for you, different things like that. But now, because that's just in my repertoire, now I don't stutter and stumble and get all tongue twisted when dogs come to the door, because I have a plan, because I've done it enough times. I will have the same joke. You can have the same repertoire of 2 or 3 jokes that you use because they're just going to work. You can have your weather joke. You can have, so here's my weather joke. And it's a way of humanizing and communicating. But if it's raining really heavily, I will say something like, I am swimming your order to you now. And so it humanizes me that I'm going through the rain for you. It lets them know, if I want to, I can follow it up with, I'm swimming my order to you now. But it may take a little bit of extra time because the roads are flooded. And so you can have these things of being precise in your speech. And honestly, I would encourage any one of you who wants to get better with it, just start talking into a camera. Even if you don't post it on YouTube, though I think a lot of you have valuable things to add to the YouTube world, but even if you don't, just getting used to looking at yourself in a camera, speaking, and not getting weirded out about that fact, and then start to piece together phrases that you want to say. Yeah, Joshua, eBay, no real talking. Absolutely. There are lots of benefits to it. But I would just encourage all of you to work on areas of communication. And sometimes I can talk really fast if I'm dealing in my area of expertise. But other times, like right now, when I'm kind of still taking some stuff that I'm learning and personalizing, I need to just slow down a little bit and just think through. And then all of a sudden, when I do that, I can get rid of the ums and likes and so's. And the side benefit for me is, because I have to edit all these videos that I make, I get so angry and frustrated with myself every time I have to cut out the word so, that now I am so, so observant when I say the word so, and I don't mean it. On to number 11 here. Jordan Peterson's rule number 11 is this: do not bother children when they are skateboarding. And before we get into the gig worker rule, I want to explain that a little bit. Essentially, it's saying, let kids fail. Let kids go out there and take on risky activities, because if a kid is skateboarding, they know there's an inherent risk that they're going to fall off, scrape a knee, scrape an elbow, but don't bother them. Let them do that. It's part of them finding their way in the world. And this one was another one that I felt I had a hard time transitioning it into gig worker world, but I'm going to go with this. You can let me know if you like this one or not. I have, do not interfere with others who are just doing their job. Okay, there you go. There's an okay. But I'm now aware of it. That's the precision of speech that I'm talking about. I'm now aware of some of my speech deficiencies. It's not your job to tell the restaurant worker what to do. Now, if you're trying to get an order and you see that the order is there and you want to help point them out, you can do it in a way that's nice. But simply going up to a restaurant worker and saying, I've been waiting here 15 minutes, where's the order? That's not going to help anybody. It's just not. And I've seen it where when certain drivers pass on being polite, that restaurant workers will pass on giving them the order. And I believe it was Valentine's Day, and I remember talking about it. I think it was on a live stream. I think it was Valentine's Day. It was this year that someone had come in and was demanding their order, and they wanted it right away, and they left, and then it got assigned to another driver. And I told the drivers that, hey, they don't have the order. When the new driver came in, he came and brought him the order right away, and he had just refused to give it to the first driver because he was being so rude. Don't interfere with people. Help if you can help. Be helpful, be polite, but don't interfere. And part of this too is when you do a drop off, read the room. Sometimes I'll have customers who will gladly have a 5-minute conversation. And other times the customer wants to get their food and get out of there as quick as possible. I had a fun interaction today with a guy, and I delivered to a crane operator to the crane, and it was definitely my favorite interaction of the day. And I was just like, hey, I've delivered to a forklift before, but I've never delivered to a crane. He's like, yeah, I didn't really know how to put that in the instructions. And he gave a couple minutes, and he gave a cash tip, which again, you're gonna have to watch the day 4 video to see this whenever I get it produced. But he did it, and it was a good, fun interaction. And then I had other interactions today that are like what we have all the time. Hand the food. Thank you. Have a great day. That's it. They don't want any other interaction. Don't interfere with other people who are doing their jobs or just getting what they ordered. All right. Lastly, which is this. Jordan Peterson's 12th rule is pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. Okay. And this is, I don't know, do you guys deal with dogs on a fairly regular basis, like multiple times a day? I do. It feels like. So I have be nice to the puppies that greet you at the door. Okay, that's my version. That's the gig worker version. Be nice to the puppies that greet you at the door. I already mentioned this earlier, but talk to them nice. Most owners of pets know when their dog needs to not come out or when it is, and most are kind of apologetic. But if you go, I can't prove this, but there are times that I've received increased tips after interacting with dogs in a friendly way. I can't prove that it's from that, but it's happened more than once that it makes me believe that it's maybe slightly more than just a coincidence. So those are the 12 Jordan Peterson's 12 rules for life. Craig's version, 12 rules for gig workers. So let me know what you think. I saw there's a couple other questions, so we're gonna get to those here in a second. Do you agree with any of those? Would you add anything? Again, I'm not saying those are the only rules for gig workers. I'm just saying that's the application of Jordan Peterson's. I think that there's probably certain areas we can all work on. I know for me, the not putting myself in a position to tell a lie is a big area for me to work on, and being precise in my speech. That's one that I am actively currently working on. So, but with that being said, what are you drinking today? I've got the agave lemonade from Panera. So let me know. I think we have 2 things of Panera coffee in the fridge, ready to go for the morning, and then I have this, and then I have the unsweetened tea also in the fridge. We're actually kind of loaded with Panera drinks right now. All right, let's see. I want to kind of work backwards. I know there's some other comments in here. So Joshua, yeah, and by the way, let me know what you're drinking down in the comments below. We'll do that. All right. Update, bought a car with the money now, $5,000. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. So it's been so much fun hearing about your journey. And I know you were telling me the other day, I won't reshare it all here, but how you've just been keep flipping your inventory on eBay. And I'm going to tell you, Joshua, even though if you're not doing gig work, these principles can still apply to e-commerce stuff too. You'll have to, certain ones are a little bit more of a stretch, but, prioritizing quality service for people over just getting a sale, interacting with people, treating people in a good way. There's lots of good application here. I could probably remake this video and just do it for e-commerce, and there'd be similar applications but different, but I'm fairly certain you can make that work. So let's see. All right. I know I saw a couple more questions earlier. Kevin, I don't know if I said good evening to you, but good evening if I missed that before, because I don't think I did. No, I saw Presley. All right, Lucian, do I sell Amazon FBA? I currently am trying to set aside enough money to get back to selling on Amazon FBA. So I'm trying, that's part of the reason I'm doing this $200 a day challenge. I'm trying to, well, I'll get into the channel update in a little bit, and because I really do want your guys' feedback. So get ready to type some good feedback and stuff here for me. But I'm just trying to sense what I'm seeing with YouTube views, interactions, and different things. And so I have some ideas of kind of what I'm thinking. So, but yeah, I'm hoping to be sending an inventory to FBA by the end of September, beginning of October at the earliest. I do technically have Samurai Brothers. So Samurai Brothers card game. I'll let me put the link in case anybody wants it. And my business partner is actually, he's working on the Kickstarter for a, not really an expansion, but a spin-off of it. So here, let me throw this in here in case you're interested. That is an affiliate link. Hold on, I better just put it. Hold on, let me take that off. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. So I don't know if I can affiliate link to my own product page. I better not do that. I'll throw up the eBay listing for it, because I've got the. It might technically be cheaper on Amazon, but I'll give you guys, it's 25 on Amazon. So, and I think it's 25. Yeah, it's 25 plus shipping unless you're. Hold on, let me see. Is it just 25 free ship? It is 25 free shipping. All right. Well, I'll honor the 20. I'll refund you if you want to buy it on eBay. Hold on. Pull this up in case anybody. I was not ready for this, but or if you want to browse around the store for any other random junk I'm trying to sell. Let's see. How do I do this? And so there's a base version and there's an autograph version. Yeah, so I'll give you, it'll actually be like a $20 refund. But I don't have an easy way to set it up here. Wow, that's a really long link. All right, well, whatever. I'm just gonna. I don't know why that's such a long link. That's not good. Hold on. Here. That's a much easier link. We'll do this. That's it. That's the eBay. So it's listed as 35 or 40 plus $10 shipping, but I'll just give it to you 25 free shipping if any of you guys want to buy the game. The more expensive is the autographed version that we have. So that's only because we only have a few copies that both my business partner and I had autographed. But anyway, I have that game. That's the one thing that I have up on Amazon. So if you find it on Amazon, that's my Amazon account there too. But yeah, I'm hoping to be getting going on that soon. So if I missed, yeah, you're not old enough. That's kind of what I figured, Joshua. Is it 21 for gig work? I don't know. If I miss any of your questions, let me know. But and you can still keep on talking, keep on adding any other thoughts that you have. Time to give a channel update, and this is where I kind of want some feedback from you guys. So first of all, appreciate all you guys hanging out. Oh, I can't drive yet. All right. But you got the car. One step at a time. So is it. So here's the channel update. A couple of things. So I've been doing for the last couple of weeks, I think it's been about 2 weeks, I've been doing my personal progress journal on YouTube. And I know some of you guys have been chiming in and watching that and different things. It does appear that it's kind of messing with the YouTube algorithm for my videos though, because that's kind of content for like you guys, the core audience, not necessarily the broader audience. So what I want to do is I kind of want to start funneling, and I want to make the YouTube much more appealing to the broader audience. And then we kind of funnel down to like the live streams, and then funnel over for now to the Patreon. Now, I want you guys to all know the Patreon is, you can get on the Patreon for free to get a lot of the base stuff. There are certain things on the Patreon that are only available to paid members. But I'm going to put the personal progress journal over on the Patreon, but it's going to still be available to free. It's going to be available as free. I just need to, I think I'm confusing. There's another see, I'm aware. I am confusing YouTube's algorithm too much, because the vast majority of people coming in are looking for food, gig delivery, maybe a little bit of eBay, Amazon, some of that stuff, but it's mostly like food and gig delivery and some of this life growth stuff that I still want to apply it in the videos and teach in the videos that I'm doing, but the deeper application of this stuff is a pretty narrow niche portion of my audience. It's you guys. It's you guys who are regularly coming in, hanging out on the live shows or the live streams and stuff like that. That's the niche that it is. And so I want to move and the first one's going to go on tonight. So if you've been enjoying that series, you can hop over to the Patreon. You do not have to pay to sign up. There is free. There is also a free trial of the paid if you want to do that. And what I'll do, I'm going to even give you guys a free preview, so you can kind of see what's in there. But if you like the deeper stuff, I think for right now, this is going to be the way that I'm going to handle it until I have some sort of team and staff where I can manage multiple YouTube channels, which I don't know if I'll ever get to that, but we're going to do this. We're going to do a screen share here really quick. So I'm going to show you guys the Patreon, and this is showing you. This is like the kind of like what it would look like if you were a paid member, so you can see what's on there. So, so I did like the announcement over there, Patreon exclusive, an update on the $200. And again, those are like free posts. There's a little eBay update. One of the things that, by the way, that mask is already sold. So I got it listed, and it sold within a couple of days. Then I've done some other videos. Once you get on there, I have a spreadsheet to help with scalable income if you're looking how to scale up. Pictures of the shirt. Thank you again, Lisa, for the shirt. And you can kind of see I've got the first chapter session of the Breakthrough Hustle, which is kind of a personal development thing. So just so you can kind of see, like, there's stuff that's going up here regularly, some other, sip cup stuff, some family things, all kind of some. So there's some deeper stuff, but there's also some behind the scenes stuff. So that's there for you. Some of that stuff is available for free. All of it's available for paid. I don't care if you pay or not. I mean, I appreciate everyone who pays to support this channel. It is helping me grow. It's giving me the ability to do this. And the more supporters of the channel, the more of this type of stuff we can do, and the less I have to be out going and doing $200 of delivery every single day, or I can hire an editor so I can get the videos out faster. So everything that comes in from the channel, I'm just putting back into the channel. But I know not everybody's there to do that. And so that's why the Patreon, there's a free tier, and then there's also a free trial on that. So I would love it if you guys would come on over there if you like the deeper stuff. We will still have this once a week show. I may still throw up a personal progress journal every once in a while, on YouTube. Like I might do like maybe once a week I'll do one, but make it a little more YouTube-y. The problem is like YouTube wants a certain thing that's a little more formalized, and I don't know, there's just YouTube etiquette that you kind of have to follow to make videos work. And the problem is someone who's wanting to see a delivery video and then sees me talking about how I'm trying to get better with how I use my words, it turns a lot of people off and they're like, no, never mind, that's boring. I don't want that. So I'm trying to do that. So with that in mind, I think on the YouTube side, I'm going to focus here at least through the end of this calendar year. I just want to get, even though we don't have to get to the 1,000 subscribers, I want to get the watch hours up. I want to basically do two main things on the YouTube channel. And let me know if you guys are thinking that this vibes. I want to be doing delivery-based ride-along things and then delivery-based searchable questions. So some of the most popular videos that I have, so the popular videos that go really fast but then kind of fade are the ride-alongs. If I can hit the right type of ride-along, you know, they're really popular for a short period of time and then they just kind of fade out and get the occasional view. The other ones are, they start out slow but they just incrementally grow. So one of those videos is how much can you earn as a Grubhub driver in 2024? I don't know if that's the exact title. That's one of them. Another one that is like slow but just consistently gets views, and we're talking multiple views every day. You know, my Grubhub video, my first shift on Grubhub has already gained 100 subscribers for the channel. So it's just basic stuff. People who want to know, well, how much money can you make on Grubhub? So they type it in, and then my video comes up. Another one is how to do Instacart shop only orders at Publix. Okay, it's a very specific thing, but when I went to get information on it, all the things I saw, the videos weren't as well made as I thought I could do, and they were slightly dated, and I was scared to take shop only orders because I didn't know how to do it. So instead of not doing it, I decided, well, I'm going to make a good video, and that video now gets consistent views. So that's kind of what I want to focus on for those two. And then I think most of the other things that are tangential to that, personal development, other side hustle things, we'll still talk about them in passing, and I'll still answer any questions that come up in live streams and stuff. But I think most of that video creation for now, other than I might make some searchable content, like how to ship a trading card via eBay standard envelope. I might do some of that, but I don't think I'm going to do anything else outside of that, outside of the food and gig delivery for the next few months on the YouTube channel. And then I'm just going to throw some of those things in the Patreon. So I want to, for those of you who are on Patreon, and especially my paid Patreon members, I really want to start upping the value that you're getting out of that. And I'm trying to create more stuff for you and I want to make it so that if you're coming on at $5 a month, you feel like you get all that value just in the first 5 minutes. And then everything else after that is good. And then if we can really get pumping, then we might be able to really get some deeper level stuff on some of those higher tiers if some people want to come join on that, support the channel at that level. So that's where I'm thinking and I'm leaning. So I would love your feedback. And again, you can message it down there, or if you're watching this on replay, you can just throw in a comment if you kind of like that. You also can do the email asideofhustlechannel at gmail.com. Make sure you have the word channel in there. I wasn't smart enough to see if the email address was available before I chose the channel name. But asideofhustlechannel at gmail.com. If you got other feedback and different things. And if you are on Patreon, either paid or free, give me any feedback of stuff that you want. I in a lot of ways feel like that's as much of a priority as anything, because it's where I really get to push in. Awesome, Joshua. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And that's what I want. I want the value that I give everybody for free on YouTube. I want that to be better than the paid stuff that other people give. Okay. So I want the stuff that people are charging for courses. I want that. I want to give that away for free. And then the stuff that you pay for, I want that to blow your minds as we grow and develop as a channel. Okay, so that's basically it. I want to take the stuff that people are like, buy this program, buy this course, and I want to be like, I'm giving all that away for free, so you don't even need that. And then the stuff that people would be like, well, I don't want to give those secrets away. Like that would hurt. Like that's the stuff that, okay, maybe we'll keep a little special sauce back for those of you who really want to dive in deeper and different things like that. So that's kind of the strategy. So again, I appreciate it. And any all feedback, whether it's tonight live or in replay, or shoot me an email or send me a message on Patreon. Like I want it to kind of be that good balance. I want the Patreon to be fun, mixed in with like behind the scenes, but then also mixed in with like challenging and going a little bit deeper. And I think that's why the personal progress journal over on Patreon for now is going to be the way to go. I think the plan is I am going to just upload them onto YouTube and just put them as private on YouTube so they don't go to other people and then link it over on the Patreon. And that way, if you prefer to watch on YouTube because you've got YouTube Premium or whatever, you've got that, that's fine. And that will continue. So that's where we've got. So that's the channel update. I do have, so day one of the $200 challenge, that is out. I've been working with thumbnails because it didn't get the views that I thought it should, and titles. I've been trying to fix both. Because it didn't get the initial views that I thought it should have, even though it's doing relatively well. I'm going to show you what this is, what the current thumbnail looks like, so you can see that. Oh, come on. Try it again. Trying to. All right. Day one epic win. That's the current thumbnail. So if you haven't watched that video yet, and you want to see what that was Sunday. So I recorded that on Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are all in process. They've all been recorded, obviously. So, Joshua, for right now, I'm not going to take on the Discord because because I don't have a team to do that. If you are interested in like hustle Discord, reach out to Lisa. And Lisa, if you're still in here and you want to post the link to your Discord, go for it. That's perfectly fine. I can only do so much, and so this is the whole thing, and this is the toughest part I think about trying to be a YouTube creator is you can only afford to kind of pay what you're taking in, and yet you want to be giving things and helping people and not be asking for money, right? It's like I don't want to be a charity or anything like that and constantly like, oh, I need you to sign up for this. No, like if you're getting value and you want to support the Patreon, that's fine. And once we get monetized on YouTube, that's fine. But it's just I'm going too many different directions right now, and so I'm gonna hone in. I've been working on some side YouTube projects. I'm probably going to cut a couple of them back anyway and just focus on, I want to put the vast majority of my effort into getting the AdSense monetized on this channel, and then trying to make the Patreon as value packed as possible. So that way, if you're talking to people who are paying for the Patreon, they will say it is the best $5 a month that you could spend. That's the goal. And as we go from there, then we can keep working to unlock other things. But I can't do it all. I'm a one person team who's already in debt and doesn't have any extra cash to spend. Like my whole goal here is to help you guys be free, also to help me be free. And if I'm gonna somehow keep myself in prison while I'm freeing you, that's not going to be sustainable long term. And if I try to get myself out of prison and keep you there, that also doesn't work. So the way to do this is to all grow together and help each other in, and that's where my values. I'm going to try to give the best things that I possibly can away for free on YouTube. Going to try to give the deeper, challenging things on Patreon and do that. And then for those who are in a position and want to support the channel financially, then I want to just go double, triple that value on the Patreon side for the paid patrons. Okay, so that is the where we're at, and so that's what I'm leaning towards. We've got a lot of things going on, and um, so I'm just trying to balance everything and do right by everybody. And I think heading into season here and the busyness, I know life is going to get busier. I'm going to be delivering more. We've got school in full swing here now with the kids, and my wife is back to work full time, and she's working on launching her affiliate thing. So I'm already helping with her YouTube channel, and I'll bring some of that information over here eventually once we're ready to publicly launch that stuff. But um, I if I go too wide, everything's going to suffer. So it's like now that I know I've kind of tried a wide variety, now I'm going to kind of hone back in on where I think is most important for all the different levels of the filter that we're trying to do. So anyway, if anybody has any other feedback, let me know. But we're already an hour 20, which is like 20 minutes longer than we normally do. And I still need to finish my supper, my half frozen, half hot pizza, which is probably now just cold. Throw that back in the oven, and then I'm going to try to do some video editing. I'm going to try to get day 2 done tonight. See if I can get that done in the next couple hours, so that'll be live tomorrow, because I do not want to get, I'm filming every day. That is the plan. I don't want to take a day off because I get too far behind, but so it might be September videos that you're going to be getting all the way through like November, but I really don't want to get too far behind and try to get these out on a regular basis. So that's where I'm going to focus. Thank you all. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I'll just give you a fair warning for the month of September. There's a good chance that we might be closer to the 10 or 10:30 time frame, just because I don't want to have to go back out after I stream like this to go deliver more to finish the challenge for the day. I just want to get the challenge done or be quick. Like when I'm home, I want to be home. I don't want to have to go back out. So I'll try to keep you updated. Plan on 9, but I'll try to keep you updated in the community tab if there are changes. Appreciate all of you. Figure out at least one area of your life, one of these 12 rules that you can start applying, and I think you're going to see lots of good benefits coming to you, to whatever your side hustle is. Have a great night.